If you've seen Joker, then you've seen the real dancing clown, Arthur Fleck. Yeah, I said it, Pennywise. If you haven't seen Joker, then you might want to be careful with the rest of this video, as there's absolutely going to be a whole bunch of spoilers.
And here we go.
Wrong movie, you idiot.
So it should come as no surprise that Arthur loves to dance. We see him boogie down in several scenes throughout the film Joker, but did you ever wonder why he was dancing like that? Sure, dancing is a fun activity that many people deem enjoyable, but what if there was a deeper reason for his tendency to bust a move? In fact, Arthur's dancing habit might have had a lot more meaning than we originally anticipated. At the beginning of the movie, Arthur Fleck is a troubled man searching for identity. He's been beaten down by life, but is still trying his best. He hasn't given up hope and still tries to be an optimist. He knows he was dealt a rough hand, but he continuously tries to make the most of it. Specifically, he wants to be a comedian, and he wants to appear on the Murray Franklin Show. If you'll recall, the first time we see Murray in the movie, he's being introduced on his show and walks out onto the stage dancing. Later, after Arthur has the incident on the subway with the three business jerks, he hides in a public bathroom and does a weird Tai Chi kind of dance. It's slow but also methodical. It's almost as if he was totally unenthusiastic about it, almost sad. For a guy who was just so overwhelmed with panic and emotion, it was surreal to see him snap into this calming trance as he waltzed around that filthy bathroom. That's because he's actually trying to express something that he doesn't quite understand. Arthur is notoriously unable to properly process feelings and emotions, and this moment of spontaneous dance is just another prime example of it. There's also something to be said about the notion of control. Arthur tends to dance when he feels confident and when he feels in control. He's overtaken by a sudden urge to dance because that's how he processes. Following the subway incident, when he was somewhat pushed into his actions by others who started the confrontation, he feels less in control. None of it was premeditated and none of it was actually Arthur's idea, but after it happened, he felt like he found a small hint of who he wants to be. He realized that he's not quite the person he wants to be, but that instance felt like a step in that direction. His dancing was a representation of him finally feeling able to express himself. In a way, his dancing and his laughing condition are almost the antithesis of one another. Arthur's laughing condition pops up uncontrollably when he feels his most uncomfortable. On the other hand, his proclivity to suddenly burst into dance happens when the opposite happens, when he feels extra comfortable and in control. It's like an involuntary bodily reaction to the feeling of confidence, which is probably something that's pretty foreign to Arthur Fleck. If you think about it, the less he laughs uncontrollably, the more he dances. As the dancing throughout the film increases, the laughing issue decreases. So it's almost like the laughing condition was Arthur's condition, while the dancing thing is Joker's condition. And the more he turns from one persona into the other, as do his tendencies change. Later in the movie, he tries to dance with his mother in the living room, but she refuses and says she wants to go to bed. This could be interpreted as Arthur's attempt at mixing the two personalities that were developing inside of him. The caring and obedient son, and now the newfound free-thinking sociopath.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Dancing was a way to merge the two sides, but Penny Fleck's rejection hints at the fact that he can't have both. He'll either have to dance alone or not dance at all, and that's a perfect metaphor for the two ways he was being pulled. Closer to the end of the movie, after he has the final encounter with his mother in the hospital, he dances briefly while painting his hair green. This is a bit more jovial and happy of a vibe, but it's still not really that expressive. It's almost as if he isn't fully invested yet, or like there's something missing. One could argue that he was busy painting his face, or that the bedroom may have been too cluttered to really dance properly, but there's actually a legit psychological reason for this. Think about it. A few moments after that dance is when he has the gruesome encounter with his ex-coworker Randall inside of his apartment. Right after that, we get the now infamous dance on the stairs, which is a lot more upbeat and enthusiastic and excited. It's Arthur finally embracing the Joker persona and embodying the identity.
Wanna know how I got these scars? Well, baby!
This is because his decision to eliminate his mother wasn't as chaotic. It was a retaliation for all the abuse he suffered throughout his life and for the ways that he was mistreated. There was a clear motive, and he likely went to the hospital that day with that intention in mind. However, the Randall incident is something totally different. That was pure Joker.
I'm the Joker, baby!
That was random and violent and unpredictable. The subway incident and the incident with his mother in the hospital could both be explained. Not that they're really understandable, but his motivations clearly were defined. The Randall incident could have been retaliation for Arthur losing his job, sure, but he didn't really have that planned. It's Arthur's first true act of total chaos. He didn't even know it was Randall at the door, yet he grabs the scissors on the way there anyway. Who knows what would have happened to some other person who happened to knock instead? He even stares at the scissors for a moment, as if to question if he can go through with this no matter who's there. Personally, I thought it was going to be the two police officers, and I bet if that were the case, Arthur would have acted the same way. There's just so much character development in that one short and simple 2 or 3 minute scene. Grabbing the scissors before knowing who's at the door, having the foresight to lock the chain behind his guests, lunging out at Gary to spook him and then kissing him on the forehead before letting him run off. It's all just so chock full of Joker, and not at all actions that Arthur would have done prior. This was such a turning moment where he really becomes the persona. The dance on the stairs is Arthur fully entering the stage as the Joker, the same way his TV idol Murray Franklin does. Then Arthur goes on Murray's show, at this point almost totally in Joker mode. He dances as he enters the set, ready to unleash his chaos on the world. However, his motives for taking people out are still based on the notion of doing good versus doing bad. He wants to take revenge on, quote, bad people, which is essentially how he gets started, but the true Joker, the final evolution of the character that we've seen time and time again, that guy isn't so picky. He's all about chaos, and his decisions wouldn't be nearly as contemplated. But the final dance we see as he enters the bright lights of the Murray Franklin show stage is absolutely the most Joker this movie gets. It's him feeling comfortable in his own skin, finally. All in all, Arthur's dancing habit was a form of escapism. It's something that he leans on in high-stress situations, like after his fatal confrontation on the subway, which probably scared the crap out of him. In fact, a lot of Joaquin Phoenix's performance was based on real-world serial killers. They even sprinkle a couple of Easter eggs throughout the film. Like, for example, Arthur performed stand-up at the Pogo Comedy Club, a nod to Pogo the Clown, which was John Wayne Gacy's clown name. Even the decision to let Gary go after the incident with Randall in his apartment was very reminiscent of Richard Ramirez or Ted Bundy, who would sometimes let their victims live. So the twisted psychology behind all of this actually checks out. Plus, the Joker character has always had a real passion for dancing. It might get lost in translation over the years, mostly because the iconic Heath Ledger portrayal of the role that's at the forefront of everyone's minds didn't feature any of it, but the Joker has always loved to dance. The original Cesar Romero version loved to shimmy, as did the Jack Nicholson version from the original Batman movie. Dancing is just in the Joker character's DNA, so the more Arthur Fleck turns into the Joker, it directly correlates with his increased desire to bust it. He starts off the film as Arthur Fleck, but by the end of it, he is the Joker. Oh, now I get why they called the movie that. Okay, yeah, that's good. That's a good title.
Is this a joke to you?
Dancing is a bona fide piece of the Joker, and it's evident throughout this Joker film because the more and more Arthur Fleck turns into the Joker persona, the more he dances. Not only the more he dances, but the more confidently and expressively and honestly does he dance. Also, why does he get in the fridge in that one scene? I asked this in a prior video and I still don't have an answer. This has nothing to do with the whole dancing topic, but I just really need someone to explain this to me. Why does he get in the fridge in that one scene and then it just cuts away and they never mention it again? Anybody?
Hey, can I get one? Thank you.
Leave your best guess in the section down below, please. And before you go, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, and if you haven't already, then you're going to want to subscribe to ScreenRant to stay up to date on all of our latest releases. Until next time, bye!